Yeah, got some rain today. Which I guess is a good thing. Wasn't a little more than I thought it was. According to Gage, got about a ½ inch this morning. And probably what I should have just done today is went to the fair and spent the day, but nothing goes on during the day, and I was more or less confirmed what people really think the other day, so I ain't gonna waste my time over there. This will be the first time in 20 years I haven't spent at least several times this week over at the fair. Usually we're showing stuff, but not this year or last year, but I might go over Saturday for the tractor pull, but they got rain in the forecast, so who knows about that. Either tomorrow or Saturday, I'll be going over again regardless. But in the meantime, since it kind of cleared up this afternoon, can't do much of anything else, thought I'd get this thing ready because I'm sure probably within the next week to 10 days, I'm going to get a phone call from somebody. I say, I know I got one bag for sure. Don't know if I got any others. Normally, I think another one's usually 2 bags, but I've told what goes on there before, so who knows what's going to happen. But I kind of hope they're going to bag because that's where my backstop is. I left it there this spring when I bagged the grass for them, figuring, no, they'll probably be the first ones if anybody want to bag. And no sense hauling that thing back and forth, but if the other guy calls first and this guy doesn't call, you know, like I say, I'll just hook up the dump trailer over there and go over there and get the cage and bring it home. Like I say, it just saves the hassle of handling it. So I'm just going over this. This is fairly simple, so I don't think never really needs much. I got some things I know was coming up. I just got done greasing it. Just wanted to double check this chain because the guy that did the rotor, he got stuck the chain off. But this is the shaft down here, he's telling me, and I'm assuming you can feel a line right there. Like this chunk right here is broke off. And like I said, I've had problems with this sliding around. I've had that key walk out some. But as long as I got the shield on, it's holding it in. And I mean, there is a lot of pressure, but overall, probably ain't all that much there, technically, unless you plug it up. But I just wanted to make sure he got that chain somewhat tight, or where it's supposed to be, and it seems to be pretty good. Because he's telling me all about that there. Because that goes up into the toolbox. But all that bolt is on there for us to hold the toolbox on it. The bolt that tightens it up is underneath there. Then you got that spacer, and well, he put this plate on here to go in the toolbox because the bottom of the toolbox is getting rusted out. But he couldn't find a bolt. I'm assuming it's a fine thread. He thinks it's metric, but nah, it's probably a fine thread. And then he said if worst comes worst, let him know, and we can get a piece of ½ inch threaded rod. And maybe I should do it because I mean, it's bound to break off here at some point. But I guess when it does, it does. I ain't gonna worry about it at the moment. I don't think it's an issue. But that's where I'm at on this. I got this bearing greased. Just going over my bag. 2 things I really gotta look into. One, I guess that bearing's out, which I thought it's been going out. And that's fairly common. The original conveyor on here, done it so many times, and basically what happens is it's coming up around here, it's actually kind of extrudes it through them bearings. I mean, I'm surprised this one's lasted this long. And I have to double check. I'm 99% sure I do have a bearing. Like I say, it's just a inch shaft pillow block bearing. And I'm pretty sure I got a new one of them. Because again, I keep it on hand because I've had problems with it before. And now's the time to do it before I go somewhere because, well, more likely you're going to have to torch that bearing off. This will come off no problem, but getting the race off the shaft. And might as well do while I got torches here. And I guess I got to look for another tire. Since to be going road work, because like I say, I got to go about 18 to 20 miles that way, or I got to go, I think it's 19 miles that way if I remember measuring out before. So this thing's gonna go over some distance. It's already gone over there once, and then it's gone to the machine shop. Ain't all that far away, but I took it somewhere else to get an estimating done on it too. But as you can see, I mean, implement tires are not made for road work, and that ain't gonna be good. No, and it's not saying this is even lined up right. This is the tire that's originally on there. Probably what I should do is go see about getting another rim. That's a problem. The center of the rim off that side broke out in here. And I mean, I got lucky. I came back from this north job one day and I no more pulled in the yard. And I mean, this, I don't know what was keeping that rim on there. So, but it's a standard 6-bolt hole pattern. So I just grabbed one of the spare tires I got, and probably what I ended up doing is going to take a tire off of one of the wagons. I'm trying to think which one would be the easiest to get one off of. I mean, if I could go get just a plain casing, I'd be happy. And then, so that's minor. That's up there's minor. This is kind of minor too. It's just a matter of how much I can take out. I got way too much slack in that chain. But I got more adjustment, but these slots are all taken up. So I can't push that down any farther. And I am lucky that the master links are right there. But the question is, I got to go from where that cotter key is, well, them two, that upper one will have to go up 2 pinholes to make that work. And I don't know if it's going to be quite enough. And the next question is, can I find a half link around? I'm almost certain this is probably enough. I think the last time I tightened it up, I couldn't get it quite tight enough. And like I said, if I had a half link at that time, it would have been better. But I think this time I might be able to get that full link out of there. Question is, well, unless I have to find my chain brake tool, which I should know where it's at. But it's fairly minor. It's going to be the biggest part, the tedious part of loosening all this up and moving it up. But like I say, that's part of an afternoon. The other thing I got to price out sometime here is I got a cable getting bad here, but it's right near the end, and there's a slug on here that goes into a hole and slots in. So you can't just cut this and splice it or anything. I hate to buy a new cable. As long as you got several wraps on here, it's not a problem. And usually we end up with 3-4 wraps. If it breaks off, it breaks off, then worry about it. But like I said, I gotta price that out. Hopefully that'll get by this year. But other than that, I did the oil in the gearbox earlier. That's a tank of oil. I mean, unless there's a big puddle underneath it, there's plenty of oil in it. And you can't, ain't no dipstick. You just gotta look into it, see if you see it. And you probably won't see the glare, but it's up there. So that's all I'll do next. I'll go see if I actually do have that bearing around. Yeah. See where I can find another tire, and it doesn't matter. Well, I know where one brake tool is, chain brake tool, but I don't know if it's the smaller one or the bigger one offhand. I have 3 of them. I have a small one that does up to like a 40 chain, one that is up to a 60 chain, and I think the big one I got, which is the one I'm not sure where it's at, which I don't need for this anyhow, and does I think up to a 100 chain. It does an 80. I'm not sure if it does 100. So that won't be too big of a deal to get that out, I don't think. because you got enough slack, you can get chain moved around where you can get these links out. So when you get them tightened up, whether you got enough slack to get everything worked back together. So that's the minor things to fix. The major thing is this thing. I blew this thing up yesterday. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing. The good thing was I only had maybe another 1/4 acre I wanted to do. It was just a part of an area just to clean up. And I had got the one major job done. Went and did the next minor job that was up the road here. I could have mowed it with the disc binder earlier, but it's kind of rough, so I picked, frick it. I just want to, I'll do it with the brush hog. And I got that all done, and there's a tree right around that area I was trying to clean up, get a little bit closer to. And I no more just set this thing down, started backing in. And my blades come flying out from underneath. So I think all this banging around, I think it's probably been vibrating there ever since. But I think whatever I hit earlier this year that sent the blade up through the deck, all the shock from that. I mean, I don't know how many times I've slipped a slip clutch this year, hitting shit. But I'm hoping, I haven't looked at the shaft yet. The shaft should be fine because there ain't no piece in it. I don't think I broke anything in the gearbox. But I think the bolt came loose and just fell off. It's got clamps on there, and it's got a bolt that goes through that's tack welded to the frame there so it doesn't turn out. You know, I say, it all failed. It's somehow there. So I got to get this back down where I had it so I can get a lift up in the air to look underneath here, just see how bad the shaft is. I mean, I don't know if it'd be worth trying to put a new gearbox in this if the gearbox is screwed, because you can see all, and I've racked some shit with this. And this is cut all the way across here. Busted up there. But the gearbox doesn't hold oil anyhow. I just put a straight tube of grease in there. If I'm going to be brush hogging a lot, I'll put 2 tubes in there, and I don't know where it goes, but it works itself out of there. So a tube of grease, good for running it for a day. It gets into them bearings, keeps them lubricated. I used to put cornhead grease in there, but that didn't stay any better. So no sense especially buying that. And oil, you put gear oil, it just runs out. So it ain't worth the issue. So, I say, so this is down, my disc bind's down. I gotta get a new cap for the one gearbox. This would be ready to go. Like I said, just got, it's getting too late to monkey with this today. Like I say, might be better to take this down home because I'm gonna need the torches. I don't either take this to the torch or bring the torch over here, but gotta find my gear puller because I think, yeah, this one goes on with a set screw. I think this will pull right out. This usually doesn't come out too bad. Then you gotta pull this adapter off, and that's got a spring pin through it. So that's no biggie to hammer that out. But probably gonna have to take, well, I've never had that off, but I don't think it'll come off that bad. It doesn't look like it's that rusted, but last several times I had to pull them off, so, which is a good thing, I guess. It's not a tight fit, but it's not a loose fit. I'm a little disappointed that he tapped that, put a regular bolt in it, because I just had a pin in it to hold it on. Well, I could strip them holes, threads out, I guess, if I really wanted to, but it is what it is. At least he didn't do the other one, so there's not 2 bolts I have to take out every time. There's a bolt there, and there's supposed to be another one down in that corner when it's on there, but it sits on a ledge, and all it's got to do is keep it from sliding around. So that's where I'm at on this. Oh, and I got to get my cord, test that thing. I really need to find a new rotor for it. The rotor in it's getting kind of chewed up. measures one. I can find one on Gandy's website, but they only show a stainless steel one. They don't show a rubber. A couple of years ago I looked it up and they had both, and stainless steel was actually cheaper. But I don't know if that's really what I want in there for silage inoculant. So, but if that's all I can get, that's what I can get. We'll see. So I'm going to get this cleaned up, and then maybe I'll throw something on the end of this. I don't know, I've got a couple other clips that maybe I could throw with this to make it a little longer, whatever. But other than that, I am fairly good to go. So I'm going to get back at this, and something else exciting happens, and I'll be back. Yeah, I started working on this, but regardless, I'm going to have to go get a bearing. It's coming apart a lot easier than I thought it would. Motor pulled right out. It's just held on. It's keyed in there with a set screw. The adapter came right off. It has a roll pin that goes through it. Tap that out and this slipped right off. It's keyed on there. Did I lose that key? Oh no, it's not keyed. Doesn't need to be keyed if it's pinned in. But all that came off easy because I put it on. This elevator conveyor doesn't come with a motor or that adapter, so I had to take them off the old one. And when I put it on there, I put anti-seize or greased it, or whatever I did, but it came apart good. The one I got problem now is to get that off. I'm gonna have to go get the torch to get that off. There's no place to grab it, and it ain't gonna come off. The problem is I'm gonna have to go get a bearing because I do have 2 new bearings that were for the old conveyor, but they're an inch shaft, and I kind of knew it, but I forgot about it. This is updated to an 1.25" shaft, or an 1.8" or something. You can see how it's stepped right there. So yeah, my adapter, motor all fit on here. This is what the original shaft on the other conveyor was, but they jumped it up in size. So I don't have a bearing for that. So I'm gonna go get my torches. Hopefully I can get it cut off. It's pretty damn windy today. I don't know if I'm gonna keep the torch lit. But get that off and go get that bearing. Yeah, I got back. I'm monkeying around here now. Got the bearing on there. 43 bucks. I guess that ain't too bad. I'm gonna say the old bagger or old conveyor had an inch shaft. This one they updated. But this works pretty good for a bearing driver too. Fit on there just right. Got it back far enough. The adapter to go on. So all I gotta do now, like I say, is put the roll pin through that, put the motor back on, tighten that screw, and that'll be done. Okay, my master links didn't move that far. I can still turn it backwards. Can't turn it backwards very easy. Had to advance it to take that bearing off. Now my master links are up there instead of down here. But if I turn it backwards, the chain catches up and won't feed through underneath there. So, but I gotta do a little more, get a little more slack in it yet. Ain't quite all the way up. Maybe that's how far it's gonna go. I don't know. It's almost enough. So, other than that, this will be ready to go. I greased it yesterday, except for these 2. I have to grease this bearing yet, and I didn't grease that one yet. Probably should have grabbed another bearing. It's the problem with these upper 2. Pushes shit into them. But keep greasing them, they'll work, I guess. And I do have another tire to put on here, if it'll hold air. I got another tire that I took off that tandem running gear last year when I put the tires on that gravity wagon. And them are 10-ply truck tires, highway tires, so that might be better to be on here anyhow. But, yeah, I say it's... Implement tires are not made for highway work. That's all there is to it. So, finally, find where I put that roll pin and get that put on, and get back at it. Well, it's several days later, and I'm gonna get this finished up. I've been doing some other jobs. I didn't video any of it. I cleaned up all my horse shit over there, or not my horse shit, the neighbor's horse shit. Got that all hauled out. I got a pile of rotten hay I got to haul out of there yet. But that's gonna go on the dump trailer and hauled somewhere and just dumped off. Yesterday I spent the day hauling manure out of the pile behind the barn here, relative up the road once. As much rotted cow manure as I can bring them, and between yesterday and the day before, I think I was up to 17 loads I hauled him so far. Hauled 3 the first night. There were 14 or 15 loads I hauled yesterday for him. And he still wants more. But that's what he's getting for now until later. I gotta get this job done because I just got a phone call this morning. They want to start bagging. So luckily yesterday I got the parts I need. Hopefully enough of the part combination to finish up this conveyor chain. And I don't remember what I've talked about. And these are the master links up here. That's where I gotta work it at. I don't remember what I've talked on previous clips of this video or what, but some of this might be a repeat. But I had problems figuring out which chain. I measured out the pitch between the center of the pin to center of pin, and I got 1 5/8 inches. And when I try to look things up online, figure stuff out, I was coming up with like a 2050, 2060 chain, and there is different styles of the same number chain. A conventional, probably gonna see it here. It's a regular roller chain that has like a dog bone shape. They're coming to 2050, 2060. It's a double length pitch chain. But this is, I guess they call this conveyor chain, basically how they classify this. But that's why I was coming up, 2050, 2060, and the 2060 is 1.5 inches between the pins, and these are 1 5/8 inches. And then the roller size wasn't measuring up, the width, nothing was really measuring up, and well, they would probably work. Well, finally at some point, I figured out here the other day, figured most of the time there is a number stamped on these. So I pulled the match link apart, got one of them links, and I found the number 550 on it. CA 550. So when I looked up that size chain, that number chain, it comes up 1 5/8 inches, and the roller balls are about the right size. This is a CA 550 chain. So, and again, no, nobody ever really stocks this stuff. I didn't even try looking around them. Somebody around here might have had it, but you know, they're probably going to be $10, $12 for one of these links. So I looked on eBay, and of course, when I was looking up the 2060 chain, I was finding several places that had the half links and had the master links, and I could order just from one place. But when I looked up this 550, the one that had both chains, they were really, I don't want to say high, but they were higher than the other places. And in this place here, they had 550 master links for $17.98 or something, whatever it was. So basically 17 bucks. But they didn't have no half links listed. And the other place had 2 half links. They wanted like 28 bucks for them or something. So I just Googled straight online, found this. I think these came from Red Boar. I forget what the hell they're at. The company's called Red Boar, I think. And they had 2 for 17 bucks. So that gives me everything I need. Problem is how how I'm going to piece this combination together, because I think I have enough slack. I can take a full link out, which would be this link right here. But to put that together, now this would be your master here. I would take this link out, break this chain here, and then put the half link in, and then this pin on the match link would go from here up to here. But I don't think I'm going to have enough slack even, because right now to get that master apart up there is a pain in the ass. I can just get the link off, so there's no way, I don't think I'm going to get a half link on. So my next option is, where the master link is here, break this chain up here, put in our master link, and then take one of these rollers and slide it on. I think I got enough that I can do that, and to be taking out a full link instead of a half a link. So either way, I'm going to need 2 masters, or I'm going to need 2 halves, and I got all that over there. So, actually, and I probably could, and I don't think it makes any difference, but this one has the Kata keys on the inside. I could probably put the masters in from this way and put the Kata keys on the outside, but that's going to, it wouldn't be the hardest thing to do, but they're going to be a little bit fishy. So I don't know. I don't think it makes a difference. So if I did that, I wouldn't need any links. But I wasn't tearing this apart any further until I had links on hand in case something doesn't work out right. One way or another, I can get this back together. So I end up finding my chain brake, my big one. I got, this one will only do up to a number 60 chain. Size. It shouldn't be. They are the same. But this one's supposed to break up to a number 100 chain. I thought I had. Is that wrong? This one breaks 60 to 100. I thought this one only broke up to a 60. It's the same jaws and everything. I guess I never realized that before. I do have another smaller one that does up to 40, but either way. Still a lot easier using one of them things and then trying to grind them off. I don't have a cordless grinder I can bring over here, bust some chains loose or anything, so I'm going to see how hard it is to do this one side, and then maybe I'll video doing the rest of it. But that's what I got to do today, because like I say, I got my tire changed. Hopefully that'll hold up better on the road. This one, I don't think I'd go 20 miles with that tire before I wore through the cords on that one, so I got a lot more meat to wear through on this one now. So I'm going to play with this, and then we'll see what combination I come up with. Well, it worked out like I kind of was hoping. I wanted to get as much out of the chain as I could. And I ended up doing like what I got to do on this side. I got to break this one out and this link out. Then I can get rid of one whole one of these. Then I'll put the master link back in this one and this one here. Pull it together and I'll slip this. So that's what I did here. I put the master links in from the back side. And then that way they can't work themselves out if they do come loose, I guess. I got to still put the strap on this one, but I got to get some Kata keys first. Took the old Kata keys out and they're kind of bent up. So we'll get this side broke out and I can wrap up this job. The problem is you got to do this about 3 different times to really break this loose. First one, you usually can't push all the way through. You get it part way, then you can push the other one all the way through. And you gotta come back and push this one the rest of the way out. Not saying that, this one will probably push all the way through, no problem the first time. What happens, it builds up a bind on it, as wide as they are. You gotta make sure you're centered on that pin, or else you're just working for nothing. It ain't nice centered on. Say if you ain't centered, you ain't gonna get it. And you gotta go back and get that one. Of course, the one I decided to record with, I have a problem with. Yeah. So what it does is rubs that burr off that they flared on there, and it just binds it just a little bit. If you get it pushed all the way through, it flares that off. But if you don't, I don't even care if I got that one or not. I only need one of them. And I got one from the other side I already took off, so I gotta take this one out and then I can slap this all back together. Yeah, I guess that's ready to go. Got the chain back together, tightened up. Got 2 more grease fittings to get yet, but grease gun's on the truck, so I'll worry about that tomorrow. Just gotta get a jug of oil filled up to oil the chains up with. And hook it up and go. And what else I need to do? Hopefully it holds up. I got 2 bags to do for him, and got 1 more bag to do, and I'm probably gonna end up chopping some of my own here yet. So see what goes on. But that job's done. I'm gonna go get cleaned up a little bit, rest for a minute, and go on to the next job.